So, Meghan's sister Samantha decided to sue not Meg for all the damages that both funding freedom and the Oprah interview caused to her. And what's so interesting about this is that Meghan has just fallen into a double bind herself, and you're about to find out why. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This is a fascinating example of how one event can create a double bind situation in which no matter which option you choose, you will be screwed either way. And that is exactly what is happening with Meghan and this defamation lawsuit. Because, alright, Samantha has all the right to do so, and we know of all the lies that Meghan has been planting on the media for quite some time. But in this case, if Meghan goes to court, she loses. And if she tries to settle out of court, she will lose too. Now, how does this work? Well, it so happens that a very strong point of the document is Samantha reminding everyone that Meghan has been trying desperately to put the rags to riches story, like she came from a struggling household, that she had to raise herself into the woman she is now, etc. And the document is crystal clear about making a grocery list of Meghan's lies, including that she was forced from the age of 13 to work in a series of low-paying jobs to make ends meet, she worked to pay for her Northwestern college education, and she had no siblings and virtually no contact with her family. So her life was like a blend between the kids at the Temple of Doom and the Revenant. Now, why does this matter? Well, you might remember that Meghan has always been pushing an image of feminist, calling herself like that and always speaking of equality of opportunities for women. That's great. But the problem is that she has been trying to distort her own background over and over again to make it seem like she's part of some kind of modern fairy tale story. Like she's the American version of Maria la del Barrio. And let's face it, people love Mexican soap operas, and especially if the struggling protagonist ends up marrying a ginger prince. When you really think about it, there's no way to sustain a feminist badge if your most relevant achievement is marrying into the royal family. Epic social climber? Maybe, but feminist? Not a chance. And much less when you come from a privileged household with all the private opportunities that you could ask for. And you might be wondering, why am I talking about this again? Why do we have to go back to this topic that was already sealed? Because nobody had contested these claims yet in a formal way. You can have hundreds of posts and videos and tweets with evidence to disprove what she says, but she can just remain silent until the tide goes down again. Yes, her credibility takes a hit, but that's not something that will stay on people's top of mind because Meghan is acting like she's not paying attention to it, like it's just rumors. And not reacting to rumors is the same approach that I recently mentioned was the Cambridge's approach to William's supposed cheating. If they are just rumors, you don't respond to them. But in the case of the Cambridges, there was no evidence of any kind. It made sense to not react. But in Meghan's case, not reacting will be all the more difficult since we now have dozens of photos that prove that, well, she was not struggling, and yes, she had quite a relationship with her sister Samantha. Meghan made the mistake of not being clear from the beginning. Hey, you know what? I did not experience any shortcomings when I was growing up. I was really privileged, and I'm even more privileged now. I just want to make sure other girls and women have access to the same opportunities that I had. That's what a sensible, authentic person will do, because otherwise they will be afraid to be called on those claims of the $4.99 salad bar at Sizzlers. And if you want to do good to the world, you just do it. If you're asked about your background, you can always be vague. But this is something that narcissists really need. They crave being victims. They crave being the center of attention, of cheap attention. So that's why Nutmeg must have decided to craft this rag to riches story, despite she being aware that sooner or later she was going to be exposed. But who are the only people that can expose her? That's easy, her family. Well, Doria is an integral part of reminding people that Meghan is biracial, and to be fair, it's a good plan. It works, so that's why she keeps her close at all costs. Yes, there was also Thomas Markle Jr., but the two that could be the most damaging to her rags to riches story are her father Thomas and her sister Samantha. And that is the reason she set out to destroy their image and credibility, so by the moment they spoke, nobody would believe them. And destroying credibility is an understatement because Meghan was flat out trying to smear them in any way possible. As per the lawsuit documents, Samantha dropped out of high school. Meghan saw Samantha only a handful of times over her life, and Meghan has never had a relationship with either of them. Samantha lost custody of all 3 of her children. Samantha had 3 children from 3 different fathers. I am not Samantha's lawyer. I am not here to defend her or prove that these things are true or not. But I find it really bad taste that these were part of a chapter in the book Finding Freedom. A chapter titled A Problem Like Samantha. And to be fair, that sounds like a funny Bewitched episode, but it is not. It's a smear fest that kickstarts with the sentence, "The trouble began with Samantha Markle." Boy, these people really wanted to drive the point home. And it was by design that this was in a book that claims not to have any input from Meghan and Harry directly. And you know how that went thanks to Jason Knauf. So Meghan was totally cool with this chapter about her sister and father being painted as grifters. And how couldn't she be? She needed to destroy their reputation and credibility so that nobody would believe them once the truth comes out. I think that once she married the prince, she felt indestructible and underestimated the odds that Samantha or her father would sue her ass off. But here we are. Now that's why we reach at our destiny, a double bind. A situation in which no matter what Meghan does, she will lose. If she goes to court to prove that whatever was in the book was true, she would get destroyed by all the evidence that everyone is aware of. This is a big difference between just ignoring all the people posting proof of her lies on social media and actually having to prove those videos and images are fake on a courtroom. Big deal. Meghan's lawyers will have the non-enviable task of retconning the Duchess' involvement in Finding Freedom. So, someone should tell Omid Scobie that he's about to be thrown under the bus, deliberately with malice aforethought. The other option is, of course, that Meghan settles out of court. Well, the damages stated on the documents are for the sum of $75,000, which should be no big deal for the Montecito couple. That's what they pay in property taxes every 3 months. But it will happen just like Prince Andrew settling out of court. You'll automatically be seen as guilty. There's no way around that. I don't make the rules. If you don't go to court to defend your case, then that's the impression you're gonna make on everyone. So a very simple lawsuit that came out of nowhere when everyone thought that Samantha had been silenced will wreak havoc in the Sussex's brand. So this is the moment to encourage our forever glorious Duchess and remind her that this too shall pass. Which better way to send her a few words of motivation than by grabbing the banana closest to you, writing a couple uplifting words and sending that lovely biodegradable message by airmail. I'm sure she will really appreciate that. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.